Noswathar, and a very warm welcome to the Stoke Kairas. Just 3 days on from the excitement of Saturday's 5-3 victory over Ipswich Town. Wrexham are straight back at it this evening in Sky Bet Championship action against visitors Portsmouth. A team who have struggled for much of this season but have found form of late. John Massinio's side, fresh from two 3-1 victories in London, are likely to prove a stern test. They are one of the improving sides in the Championship at the moment, whilst Wrexham have got to see if they can back up Saturday's victory with another 3 points tonight and consolidate that place in the top 6 of the Sky Bet Championship table. Mia Roberts and Andy Morell are alongside me as ever. Good evening to you both. It's nice not to have a brolly up this evening for once. A glorious.
The sun was out.
The sun was out in Wrexham in February. 13 degrees. Goodness me, cracking the flags. This is the sort of game, Andy, where you look on Saturday and say, well, we've beaten Ipswich at home. Portsmouth ought to be another 3 points. But they are an improving side, and it's that old challenge, isn't it, of Championship football coming quickly around and being able to rotate a squad that's worked very hard for that win on Saturday to try and go again 3 days later.
Yeah, and I think in some ways this is a more difficult game than the Ipswich one. The Ipswich one's fairly easy. You know they're good. They've spent a lot of money and you've got to be at your best to beat them. But then you come here against Portsmouth, who have been struggling at the bottom, even though have picked up lately with their 2 wins. I think this is one as a mentality one. You have to be focused. You have to do exactly the same things as you were programmed to do on Saturday and do exactly the same thing again tonight. Because if you don't, you'll become unstuck.
Mia, we'll have a quick look at the Wrexham team in just a moment, but Portsmouth's recent resurgence I think has perhaps surprised a few people, because a few weeks back they looked like a team who might be down there with Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday struggling to stay up. But they've made a couple of additions in the January transfer window and now it's looking a lot rosier for their survival prospects.
Yeah, I think January was massive for them. I mean, obviously doing the research in the week ahead of this game and just looking at the size and length of that injury list is pretty remarkable to then look at their recent results, and even those results that haven't gone their way and they've actually lost in, that the performances they've put in those games have been respectful and equally impressive. So this is a really informed side at the moment, and I was saying to Andy before about how they're sort of coming into this probably seeing it as a bit of a free hit in many ways, because last 2 away games they've gone and got maximum points. So tonight they can kind of just go out there and enjoy themselves and test themselves against a very good Wrexham side too.
Well, let's have a look at the Wrexham 11 named for this evening by Phil Parkinson, because the manager makes 2 alterations from the team who started in that victory over Ipswich on Saturday. Ben Sheaf's medial ligament injury means George Dobson comes off the bench to partner Lewis O'Brien in central midfield. And up top, Ollie Rathbone is rested, giving the opportunity for a return for Nathan Broadhead to partner Josh Windass. The third change is Sam Smith back in for Kiefer Moore. So 3 changes: Dobson in for Sheaf, Broadhead in for Rathbone, Smith in for Moore. Once more, Viner gets an opportunity on the bench, as do Keeler Dunn and the as yet unseen in red Bailey Kadam-Martiri. Andy, your thoughts on that team selection?
Yeah, well, I think Windass has to play off the back of his performance the other day. I think Broadhead coming on and was the spark for the energy at the end of the half. I think him playing Tuesday, starting Tuesday and then going again, I think they felt well after his injury wasn't quite there yet, but then to come back in because he was brilliant, I think it's a no-brainer really. And then Smith, Moore just gave everything. He was fantastic. This is where I can't get my head around. If you're a striker, you're out for the next game after scoring and playing so well. But this is modern football, I suppose, and Smith has been chomping at the bit. He's been excellent as well in the games he's played, and so he gets the start because he's fresh.
So Wrexham in action against Portsmouth tonight. Phil Parkinson was catching up with us on Matchday Live just a few minutes before we came on air. Well, Phil, straight back at it at the Stoke Kairas this evening, 3 days on from that epic against Ipswich. What's gone into your thinking with your team selection tonight?
Obviously Dobbo comes in for Ben. Rathbone comes out, Windass and Broady play the 2-10 positions. Felt they both obviously Broady was brilliant when he came on. I felt after Bristol City, Broady hadn't started the game for a while. To ask him to go again was a lot. But I feel he's ready tonight. And Kiefer, gave us so much at the weekend. Was struggling towards the end of the game, but obviously we'd had the 3 entries and I couldn't bring him off. There's no, serious injury, just fatigue, and I just felt the best place for him tonight was to come on and impact the game, and Smudger's ready and raring to go.
Now then, you mentioned George Dobson, Phil. Ben Sheaf's injury confirmed as being medial ligament a couple of days after the Ipswich game. Can you give us any indication of timescale, or is it too early to know?
Well, no, it's going to be 10 weeks. It's not good news for us, but that's part and parcel of football. I feel for Ben, who's playing really well, but as a squad, we've got to adapt to that. And Dobbo comes in tonight. Matty James is closing in on a return. It's not as soon as we'd hoped for, but that's what squads are for, and Dobbo's been excellent for us this season.
Now, Portsmouth has spent much of the season in the lower reaches of the table, Phil, but they've just won their last 2 matches, both tough trips into London that they've emerged victorious 3-1 in. What sort of challenge are you expecting from John Massinio's team tonight?
Yeah, 4-3-3. Pack sits deep, out of possession, looks to drop into the back 2 and make it a back 3 at times. The wide players stay high and wide, so on transition they can be dangerous one way but also open going the other way. And really worked hard. I thought at Millwall, I watched the game, I watched both the last 2 away games, and it's a big game for us in terms of a team who've been really scrapping down there all season and played like that in the last 2 away games, and we've got to be ready for that. Can we execute the game plan out of possession? We've worked on it yesterday briefly, because obviously freshness is the most important thing, and execute the game plan with the ball in areas which we feel we can hurt them tonight.
Just one very final quick question, Phil. I know you were at Bangor on Sunday to see the women win the Adran Trophy. What were your reflections on watching Jenny Sugarman's team lift the cup?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the game, actually. I enjoyed the occasion. I thought, that the girls have evolved. I think the team, you can see how it's improved over the last year or so. Fitness levels, technical ability, and it was great to see. And the emotions at the end were brilliant, and it's great for the football club. It capped a really good weekend for us. It's Jenny and the girls and all the staff, really did the club proud on Sunday night.
Phil, thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully catch up with you post-match.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson giving his thoughts ahead of today's game. The manager making 3 changes to the starting 11. Returns for Dobson, for Broadhead and for Smith. And one of those missing out tonight, Ben Sheaf, who Phil Parkinson confirming looking like 10 weeks out with that medial ligament injury. Bad news that, Mia, because Sheaf has been so consistent in the middle of the park this season. What are the options that you think Phil Parkinson will have in his mind as he contemplates that situation?
Well, it's certainly limited at the moment. I think when you look at it, obviously, as well, when you look at the likes of someone like George Thomason, who would have fitted into that sort of department, who's now doing such a wonderful role at that left wing back role, with obviously Kakache out as well, and Matty James being out too. It's a tough one. I think it shows that it was a very good decision to bring Zach Viner in because of what's happened in the last few days. But it's a real tough one. I think obviously there's someone like Andy Cannon who could be available to be brought back in, but I think it is a tough one, especially when you look at the likes of Sheaf and Matty James, who are similar in what they do, and I think that's where you look at that sort of personnel, and you look at Dobson and Lewis O'Brien, who are in those roles tonight. To me, they're very different in terms of partnership, but also what they are as individuals in that role. I think they're much more mobile, probably more box to box, whereas I look at a Sheaf and a Matty James who can sit in that low block and be a bit more defensive minded. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of impacts the squad going forward.
I think it's a huge blow having James and Sheaf both out at the same time. They were brilliant together as a pair. They looked like they're each other's comfort blankets at times. And then to have both out at the same time, I thought we lost our way a little bit when Sheaf went off. He just always wants the ball. He's always available for that little bounce pass if needs be. He's a good size in your box for heading out, and vice versa on the edge of the other box as well. I just think he's going to be a big miss. We've also got Thomason that maybe could go back into that central role if we can get Kakache fit out on that left-hand side, but there's so many permutations, combinations that have to happen for that to come around.
Mia, you mentioned Andy Cannon there. That's an interesting thought. So how would that work then? So there'd need to be a clause, I guess, in the loan with Burton that says he could come back, and then Phil would have to effectively use his 25th space in that squad for Cannon.
Yeah, obviously he's Burton's player at the moment first and foremost, so that obviously has to be sorted out between the clubs, and then like you say, it's them filling that sort of 25-man squad, and that's something for the club to now look at. If they think they are short, then do you look at someone like Andy Cannon? Do you look into that sort of free agent market? Who's available? It all comes down to these sort of factors, and that's a decision for the club. They've also got to think now, looking forward, well, actually, what happens if someone like a George Dobson also picks up an injury? How sort of impactful could that be, especially when you look at where we are in the league table?
So let's have a look at that league table. Mia giving us the perfect cue to remind ourselves tonight of where the standings are at the beginning of this evening's match. Wrexham taking on Portsmouth tonight, and Wrexham back up into that 6th position after victory on Saturday. Polted them above Derby County. Birmingham City on a good run at the moment, up into 7th place, but Wrexham in that final playoff place there. Played 33, points 51, and could potentially go past Hull tonight with a home win. Lots of teams though bunching up behind, and you could probably go deep into the lower half of the table, which we'll have a look at now, to still find teams who've got an eye on that 6th spot, because you could probably go right down as far as Stoke City to look at clubs who will still not have given up hopes of the playoffs. Portsmouth, they're in 19th place. They have enjoyed a couple of good results, as we've been discussing in recent weeks, to start to get themselves away from trouble. Certainly at the moment it's increasingly looking like 2 from West Brom, Leicester and Oxford to join already relegated Sheffield Wednesday, whose mathematical relegation was confirmed on Sunday when they lost the Steel City derby to rivals Sheffield United. Well, tonight a key matchup is likely to be on the Wrexham left. George Thomason up against Terry Devlin. Devlin, the Northern Irish right back who likes to get forward for Portsmouth, was actually linked with a move to Wrexham not that long ago. But Thomason, as we were discussing just a couple of minutes ago here on Matchday Live, a player who has increasingly shown his quality and versatility to Phil Parkinson, deployed as the 3rd of 3 centre-backs in a game against Cardiff, in central midfield on other occasions, and now becoming the regular at left wing back. This will be quite a battle tonight, Andy, you would think, and could go some way to determining who has the better of the evening.
Yeah, well, Devlin's been very, very good. When fit, he's been absolutely sensational for them. He scored 2 goals recently against Charlton. One was a bit lucky, went through the keeper from about 25 yards, but his second one was an absolute belter from similar distance in off the post, and he's a real problem for us because he's going to get forward at every opportunity that he gets, and he's got good delivery into the box, and with Bishop there as their name number 9, he's a handful with any crosses, and that would be desperate for some good quality coming into the box. And so we've got to make sure that we are right up tight, don't let him put easy balls into the box and stop him at source. Thomason has to take him the other way and push him back the other way. It's going to be fascinating, that side.
Amir, we can have a look now at some of George Thomason's best moments for Wrexham this evening, this season rather, because this evening, again, he'll be expected to supply width from the left, but what we've seen from him is quality with a dead ball, an ability to score himself, but perhaps above everything else, his ability to link play.
Yeah, some of those partnerships we've seen down that left-hand side have been really impressive, and in a relatively short period of time as well, how they've already grown and how we're seeing them on a match day is really impressive. But we've said it a few times, you sort of don't really want to see him sort of pigeonholed into that left wing back position. We know that's not his position, so you sort of think, well, what are the possibilities actually of him back in his usual more well known? But then I sort of look at him and I was thinking, what other players could you sort of compare that to when you look at these players who've maybe been put into a role that isn't actually their traditional one? I thought, well, someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool, for example,
yeah,
and how actually the attributes he had as a midfielder, but at those right back, I know maybe he had those sort of limitations, maybe more defensively, but I look at someone like George Thomason and I look at him and I go, well, actually he's almost the perfect wing back in this Phil Parkinson system. And I think at the moment, I see no reason why he should come out. I know obviously Liberato Cacace has looked brilliant in his moments as well, but with his fitness problems that we're seeing, I think George Thomason at the moment is one of the first names on that team sheet.
I just look at his smile that we had on Saturday with his ear, and he is just beaming. He is just loving playing.
Loves what he does, doesn't he?
So what would you rather be? Would you rather be sat on the bench behind Sheaf and James and waiting for your chance to go in as your original play, or playing regularly and playing well? He just has slotted in and suits that position, like Mir says, so well, and his qualities playing with Broadhead, he seems to have linked up really well with. His quality on crossing is as good as anybody in the group. I think he's been a revelation at that position, and long may it continue because we're going to need him.
Well, another combination that's worked very well for Wrexham so far this season has been Kiefer Moore and Josh Windass. Kiefer Moore on the bench this evening as Sam Smith gets his opportunity, but judging by the way that matches have tended to play out, highly likely Moore will get his chance late in the game. You can see on screen there the goal scoring record of the two players this season. 10 for Windass, he went into double figures on Saturday, 13 for Kiefer Moore, but they've both had the ability to assist the other, as you can see on screen. And Andy, as we have a look now at some of the moments that they've shared together so far this season, this has become a very potent combination which many of the other clubs in the league will look at and know is a key part of the Wrexham armoury.
Yeah, and I think our formation just slightly changes when Kiefer plays to when Sam plays. I think we play with 2 10s when Sam plays because he just stretches teams constantly, allowing the space for the 10s to get on the ball. Whereas when Kiefer plays, I think he prefers somebody up and around him, which Windass was on Saturday, and they just complement each other so well. They each read each other. Just on that one there, Windass knows that he's going in behind if he wins it, and then it's a brilliant finish off the back of it there. They just have a really good relationship, that telepathy that sort of know where each other's going to be. And when you get that, you score 23 goals already before the end of February.
Well, of course, some of the goals that they enjoyed creating for one another were in that game against Ipswich on Saturday. Windass providing for Moore for the first and Moore returning the favour for the second. It was an epic afternoon to be at the Stoke Kairas. Here's a reminder of the 8-goal thriller we all enjoyed on Saturday.
Windass does brilliantly, wins ahead of Moore, breaking in the box, left-hand side, tight angle, and he scores! Oh, what a goal by Kiefer Moore! He slams it in against his former club, good lord! Dobson hunting down, but good passing by Ipswich, and the ball is fed forwards. Near is Taylor, carrying us to the edge of the area. Nice change of feet, hits the shot, and Concord parries into the goal mouth. Big chance, and it's there! And Concord will be disappointed there. And then Doyle manages to find Dobson, he helps it on. Moore turns in the centre circle, good run by Moore now. He's got options in the box as he gets into the area, pulls it in, defender off balance, only half clears. Thomason, great save by Walton, diving header, and it's in! Windass scores! Wrexham, it's a scrappy one, but we don't care. Brilliant improvisation by Windass to dive in and head it into the net.
More accustomed to, particularly earlier on in the season. I think that's what we'll see.
Oh, it's a brilliant touch, and Thom's got a chance here, drills it and scores. Oh, that is a superb goal. What a little layoff that was. Matsusiwa drilled it forwards, brilliant touch round the corner. It's good foot in by Heim, but spins loose, and Heim attacks it again. It falls for Rathbone, who works it wide. Burns chance to cross. He takes a touch inside and engages with Thomason on his left foot, rips the ball in, half cleared by Dobson. Shot comes in, what a goal! What a strike, and it's 3-2 to Ipswich. Now Hyam, good ball as he's fouled. Ref plays a good advantage. Broadhead bursts through the middle. He's got players over here. He edges the D, hits a shot, deflected. Thomason! Yes! Thomason, left-footed, slams it inside the left post. O'Brien with the in-swinger under the bar, headed in. Doyle scores. Wrexham 4-3 up against Ipswich. What a game this is! What a delivery by O'Brien!
Quite the game to make your debut in, isn't it? Not the easiest ones.
As Moore wins the ball off O'Shea, now there's possibilities. O'Brien looks for Broadhead. Can he finish? Yes! Broadhead! Magic! 5-3 again!
A stunning victory then for Wrexham on Saturday, beating Ipswich Town by 5-3 and heading back into the top 6 in the Sky Bet Championship as a result. Tonight, though, a very different challenge for Phil Parkinson's Red Dragons, with the arrival of Portsmouth making the long trip from the south coast. They are managed by John Messinio. So let's have a little look now at how Parkinson and Messinio compare in the dugout, because John Messinio was not a name necessarily on many people's lips in and around Fratton Park when he arrived just over 3 years ago. A midfielder who'd spent much of his career with Stevenage. He was given the opportunity at Portsmouth but guided them to the League One title, and as you can see on screen, a very solid win percentage in Messinio's managerial career, which compares well to that of Phil Parkinson. I'm delighted to say that on Matchday Live this evening we are joined by a Portsmouth season ticket holder, a man who has followed the club all his life, Cliff Grantham. A very warm welcome to Matchday Live. Thank you very much for joining us and for being part of the show. Perhaps we could start, Cliff, by chatting to you a little bit about John Messinio, because when he got the Portsmouth job, I remember at the time people had other names on their lips who were more established and more experienced. From a fan's perspective, what's their view of him?
Yeah, I think, win, lose or draw tonight, you're going to hear his name chanted. He's done a phenomenal job. You're right, when he arrived, it was John Who. We hadn't heard of him. I think he was still playing the odd game for Oxford. He hadn't got his coaching badges at that point, but he's done a fantastic job. And all credit to the club, to the owners, to the director of football, Rich Hughes, and Andy Callum, the CEO. They've plucked out a real gem, I think, there. And he's done a great job, took us up as champions of League One in his first full season, and now 2 seasons in, we hope, the Championship. So he's done a great job and a fan's favourite, definitely.
Well, if we have a look at his statistics on screen, Phil, Cliff, of John Messinio, a very good record that he's got there, clearly in League One, in taking Portsmouth up as champions with 97 points, a terrific haul. Last year consolidating in the Championship. Give us a bit of a sense of perspective, Cliff, on where the Portsmouth fans currently see the club and what they think that success might look like this season.
Well, at the moment, survival, definitely. I mean, there's a bit of disappointment, I think, relative to where we hoped we would be at the start of the season. I mean, having survived in the end reasonably comfortably in the Championship last season, there was a real hope that we would push on. It hasn't quite worked out like that. So the focus now is very much on survival. It would be disastrous, I think, to lose our Championship status after only 2 seasons, after taking such a long time to get back into the Championship. So that's the immediate focus. Longer term, I mean, one would hope this is a club that could really push on. I mean, certainly the potential is there, but we've got owners whose pockets are only so deep.
But let's just talk about the owners, because there is a bit of a parallel here with Wrexham. Cliff, tell us who's in the boardroom.
Well, the club is owned by the Eisner family, by Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney, and his 3 sons through their investment firm. And they've been owners for nearly 10 years now, came in 2017. I mean, the club was in a pretty parlous state until the fans took over 3 years before that and stabilised things, and they've taken the club on. They've invested heavily in the infrastructure. We've got a much better stadium now. We've got training facilities that are much improved, an academy, a fan zone. I mean, the club is well run, and they've invested heavily, a lot more than I think they thought they were going to need to when they took on the club. But competing in the Championship is expensive, as Michael Eisner has conceded, and we probably have one of the lowest playing budgets in the division, and that's the bugbear, I think, of fans now. I think really want to see if the club is going to push on. We're going to have to not be shopping around in the bargain basement for players.
Hey Cliff, and my memories as a player when I was playing of Portsmouth is that bit of a mad era when Harry Redknapp was about and the spending was through the roof, and Crouch and Defoe and Franchiard. That was a mad time, right, for Portsmouth?
Absolutely mad, crazy. But I don't think we would be without it. Some great days.
Well, FA Cup, right?
Team full of internationals. You mentioned some, David James, Glenn Johnson. I mean, even some, Lassana Diarra, who came to us from Arsenal and Chelsea and went on to Real Madrid afterwards. Correct, Papa Diop, Sully Montari. Yeah, it was a crazy time. Unfortunately, it wasn't built to last.
I get it.
And Cliff, obviously we're quite familiar with fan ownership at this club at Wrexham. We've spoken a lot about how the fans sort of saved this club. What was the experience like at Portsmouth? Because obviously we're very familiar with how it worked at Wrexham, but what was it like with you guys?
Well, there were some terrible years after Harry Redknapp left, and the then owner Guy de Mack sold the club. I think we had 4 owners at one point in one season. We went into administration twice. We went from the Premiership to League 2 in only 4 seasons. We were docked 19 points. I mean, I shudder even now to remember those times, but the fans came in, saved the club, stabilised it, and provided a great base for the Eisner family to come in and take it on.
Was there a point, Cliff, where genuinely people thought Portsmouth might never rise again at that time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this was a club that was in weeks, if not days, of going out of business. I remember walking up to the Royal Courts of Justice at one point, seeing some of the supporters come out, waiting for verdicts on whether we were going to get another stay of execution. So, yeah, I mean, it was really serious, and fortunately those days are behind us now, but yes, I shudder to remember them.
Incredible the number of links between the two clubs, because as you say, there was the descent into fan ownership, there has been the high points as well, which you had in the Premier League years and which hopefully are ahead for us now at Wrexham, but also some players who've pulled on both shirts, and I guess Barry Horn would be top of that list. Wrexham hero for years, yes. Local North Walian, played against Porto for Wrexham, but then when you had your season back in Division 1 just before the Premier League was born, he was player of the season, I think, at Portsmouth.
Yes, that's right, yes. The team went up under Alan Ball in 1987, and Barry Horn was a big part of that setup. A real tough tackling, no nonsense midfielder of the kind the fans like. Very remembered very fondly, Barry Horn. Yeah.
And looking ahead to tonight, Cliff, just finally, clearly you've been in excellent form of late. To go to Millwall on Saturday and win, I mean, that was something Wrexham didn't manage to do the week before. Back-to-back away wins. Has that given belief, do you think, that you can come here tonight and get another 3 points?
Well, it's certainly come into this game with confidence, because that's 2 away wins on the trot now, 3-1 at Charlton and 3-1 at Millwall. Both of them thoroughly deserved. So there'll be a lot of confidence tonight. But also I think the pressure's off a little bit. I mean, having gone into these 3 away games, we would have taken 3 or 4 points, I think, and thought that would have been a good outcome. So to be already at 6, so the pressure will be off a little bit tonight. But obviously we're still down there at that bottom end of the table, so points are important. Full of confidence, I think, tonight after a thoroughly deserved win at Millwall on Saturday.
Fantastic. Well, Cliff, thanks so much for joining us. We'll hope to grab you at Fulltime as well, just to get a bit of post-match reaction when we see this one, how it all plays out. But thank you very much, sure, Cliff, for joining us on Matchday Live this evening. Cliff Grantham, Portsmouth FC season ticket holder, who's been through the highs and the lows of Pompey's ever-colourful history. Well, talking of history, Wrexham women made some more of their own on Sunday, victorious in the Adran Trophy final against Cardiff City. It was a nerve shredder in the end, and it took penalties to split the two teams. Let's have a reminder, first of all, of Wrexham's route to the final.
Yeah, this weekend's the first step in a journey that we hope will take us to the cup final on the 22nd of February. That's where we want to be. We, taking the competition very seriously. Like you say, we want to be aiming for silverware at the end of the season, and this cup competition provides us that opportunity.
Jones now on the charge, has got 3 players attacking the box, marked by 1. She gets this right, it's got to be a goal, and it is! Barker drilling it in from close range. Great ball in by Cara Jones. More movement now, creating a space in the 6-yard box. That's a nasty ball in, and it's there. Rosie Hughes again. That was a lovely piece of improvisation by Hughes. Bartle, good strike. Oh, it's in. Jenkins unsighted, got a hand to it, but she couldn't call it out. Going for that top corner. Couldn't find it, and now here is Knox to win it. Steps up. Oh, yes. And Wrexham are through in dramatic fashion to the semi-finals. What a game that was. Oh, well, there you are. Hughes with the keeper, gets round her on her right foot, and it's 5. Rosie Hughes adds to an extensive collection of Wrexham goals. Stretching Griffith, who's marked in the middle. If she can find it, she can find it. Rosie Hughes on her right foot. Oh, can she finish? Eventually she can. Well, that is an award for persistence, and look at that celebration. Rosie with another.
steps up, right-footed. Oh, yes! Top right corner. Michael Williamson couldn't look then. He was turned his back on the pitch.
Brilliant penalty there from Moult.
1-0 to Wrexham. Steps up, great penalty there. Great penalty. Bottom left corner. Keeper in the right way. Had no chance. 2-1 to Wrexham then. Right-footed, steps up quickly and puts it in the bottom left corner. In off the post. No problem. 3-1 to Wrexham. Steps up and scores! Wrexham have won the trophy! Look at the celebrations! Wrexham have won their first ever silverware! Oh, the celebrations are insane! Just look at that! This team! And we have done it! We have stepped up to the occasion! Joins us up. I like it. Joins her teammates. And as the Wrexham players make noise, the trophy is lifted, the champagne is out, and the magnificent Wrexham supporters get what they deserve. The magnificent Wrexham team gets what it deserves. That, my friends, was how you win a cup.
Glory days then at Bangor City Stadium on Sunday. Wrexham crowned Adran Trophy winners for 2026, beating Cardiff City on penalties after the match was drawn 2-2 after 90 minutes. And delighted to have with us this evening on Matchday Live, Head of Women's Football Operations, Gemma Owen. Gemma, thank you so much for coming to join Mia and I. Have you stopped partying yet?
It was quite a tame one for me, actually.
Don't believe you.
I know. We move swiftly on. Football doesn't stand still very long these days, unfortunately. But we made sure that we enjoyed that night, and winning that trophy was such a special moment for us, such a huge moment for us, and it was important that we enjoy it. Then we move on to the next one. It comes thick and fast.
And as if to underline your point tonight, Gemma, none of the players are here this evening because they are training ahead of the match against Cardiff in the league this Saturday. So that was just the first of what I think are 4 meetings between these two teams in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we played them obviously the weekend just gone. We play them again this weekend in the league. We play them the following weekend in the Butte Energy Welsh Cup, and then later on at the back end of the season as well. So yeah, we'll see a lot of each other over these next few weeks.
And Gemma, obviously, like Chris says, coming up against Cardiff so many times, obviously now again as we go into phase 2 as well. But to get that win, and with it being in that final as well, obviously hadn't beat them either times in the league. How important was that? And to me, it looked like the girls, I watched them coming into the ground at Bangor, they looked so calm and so relaxed, and that was something that to me immediately jumped out in the fact that despite maybe not coming there with a win already under their belts against Cardiff, they just jumped off the page. Yeah,
they'd prepared so well for that game, as they do with any game, but they'd prepared really well for this one particularly. Jenny and Bex and the rest of the staffing team have done such an incredible job with the preparation. The detail that goes into this preparation is absolutely incredible. So yeah, they felt very, very good going into that game, and it showed. They played with such confidence, and it was a genuine pleasure to watch. And yeah, getting that piece of silverware is really important. Something we haven't won that tournament before. We've not made the final of that tournament before. So it just fills us with even more confidence going into this weekend, and it should do. The girls thoroughly deserve to go into Saturday's game with that confidence behind them, and yeah, they did such a fantastic job leading up to that game.
And I just want to touch on as well some of the girls who've come through the door fairly recently. The new signings in Michaela, Sarah, and Maria, all coming in very recently. I think Maria's debut, wasn't it, for the cup final?
It was,
and
yeah,
the impact she made, but also the sort of understanding, and you can see the joy that they felt obviously winning. But it seems like they've already sort of picked up that sort of attitude of what it means to play with that Wrexham badge on their chest.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and I think it's been touched on somewhere else previously that Jenny and the rest of the team, it's important that they bring in the right people, as well as what they can do on the pitch with the ball by their feet, and that you know, that is an absolute testament to the players who've come in now, hit the ground running. As you said, Maria, it was her debut, it was Sarah's debut as well. Michaela's only been with us for just a short time, and it's like, genuinely, it's been like they've been here since, well, the start of the season, if not beyond that, and they've settled in fantastically well, and they're just amazing people, and they fit in really well with the rest of the group because they're also just as amazing people. Brilliant.
Just a word on Liz Craven, Gemma. I know it's difficult sometimes to single people out, but when it comes to a penalty shootout, all eyes go on the goalkeeper, particularly when Wrexham missed their first penalty on Sunday. A huge amount of pressure goes on Liz's shoulders to respond, and to then immediately pull out 2 saves and tilt the bias right back towards us. Again, I think a reflection of her mentality, but also her quality.
Yeah, Liz actually said before the game that she would go into a penalty shootout full of confidence. She was ready for that. She backs herself, as she said in post-match interview, in a penalty shootout. So it didn't surprise us really that she was as prepared and as focused as she was. You know, Liz is a fantastic goalkeeper, and she's shown that week in, week out. And yeah, we had this weird sort of calm, I think. It might not have shown, but you know, we knew that Liz would pull something out of the bag, and she absolutely did.
And now looking ahead to the remaining fixtures this season, Gemma, I guess clearly, as you're saying tonight, straight back into training, the focus goes back on the league fixture on Saturday. That must send a lot of belief through the ranks that you've got that first trophy banked, and there's the possibility that to fear nobody and to go on potentially to a treble.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the girls really do back themselves. I think that's the first thing that they need to be able to do, is have the belief in themselves that they can do it. They absolutely do. They have the support and backing of the staff, who we equally believe in what they're capable of and what they can do. And yeah, they thoroughly deserve to be going into this sort of second part of the season now with the confidence they have. They have worked and continue to work extremely hard, and yeah, they thoroughly deserve any rewards that come their way.
And Gemma, I just want to say as well, whilst we've got you, I think you deserve an awful lot of praise. I was on a call with Merck at Kairas the other week, and Rob McElhenney was on it, and he actually described you, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, he described you as Gemma the Terminator Owen.
Oh.
And I think it's pretty apt in what you do. Once you set your mind to something, you're going to do it. And I think, you know, the amount of pressure that's obviously on this side, obviously the players, the staff deserve huge credit, but for what you've done, obviously, since you know, the owners have come in and taken over and obviously put so much time into the women's team, but the time you put in as well, I think you deserve so much credit for doing that, and hopefully this is only the start.
Oh, bless you, thank you very much, that's lovely. I don't know what to say. I mean, you both know me hopefully well enough to know that, you know, I genuinely love this club with everything I have, and I will always put my absolute all into it, but I'm just a small part of a team, and if I can do what I do to the best of my ability, then that makes me happy with you know, trying to do whatever we can to try and get the end goal at the end of the season. And you've made, I've never lost the words ever. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Robbo. That's really nice. Thank you.
Well, Gemma, thanks so much for joining us on Matchday Live this evening. Here's hoping for valuable points to be earned in Cardiff with this rare Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff coming up at the weekend, and hopefully some more silverware before the end of the season. Well done.
Thank you very, very much.
Gemma Owen, Head of Women's Football Operations, joining us on Matchday Live as we build up with just 12 minutes or so before kick-off. Wrexham against Portsmouth tonight. 3 changes from Phil Parkinson as Broadhead, Dobson and Smith return. More Rathbone and Sheaf make way. Well, it's been a busy couple of days off the field for the men's team as well, with a couple of very important contract extensions. Both George Dobson and Ollie Rathbone have put pen to paper to extend their stays into the end of the 27-28 season. And we caught up, first of all, with Ollie Rathbone.
Congratulations on signing a new contract with Wrexham. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, really delighted. You know, it's a special day for me and my family, and
Yeah, over the moon. Really, really delighted. And it comes at a time when you've been back in the team, scoring plenty of goals as well. Just how have this last couple of months felt for you, especially given the start to the season you had? Yeah, obviously got off to a horrific start. Couldn't have gone much worse, picking up that injury and then having to get back into the team. But no, over the last few months, it's been great to be back out there and contributing and being part of this team because I really enjoy it. Do you feel more like yourself again now? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, obviously, when you kind of come off a long-term injury like that, it's hard to, find your feet at first, and then it was kind of like a new squad coming together. But it all seems to have gelled just right.
Wrexham midfielder Ollie Rathbone delighted to be extending his stay in North Wales this week, and Andy Rathbone showing this season, once he got fit again after that horrendous injury in the summer, just what quality he brings both as goal scorer and creator. Yeah, he's just infectious when he's on and off the pitch, really, and I think he's had a few tough times of it this start of the season when he's been injured and you don't feel involved, but he's certainly come out of his shell now, hasn't he? I think it's a fantastic extension. I think George Dobson the same as well, and what it does, it just takes any doubt off the table for them that they might be moving on to better things, this club, and I've got a worry that my contract's up at the end of the season. Just takes all that doubt away, so just go and concentrate on your football for the rest of the season and you can crack on being exactly what you are, which is infectious, high energy and really a front foot for this team, and be a leader at the front and be out there and scoring goals and taking chances as you've done, because you've lifted this team since you've come back into the team. Keep doing it. And I'm sure, Mia, like most players, Rathbone would probably rather have started tonight, but he's a wonderful weapon for Phil Parkinson to have to summon potentially in the second half, because he's shown us time and again this season his ability to score a crucial late goal off the bench.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely sort of become that midfield sort of goal scorer, if you like, and that's something that I don't think he was signed as. Certainly not when you look at his statistics going back at Rochdale and obviously Rotherham as well. I don't think he hit double figures. Absolutely not. And when you look at him now in a Wrexham shirt, and obviously last season as well, that's certainly something that he's added to his game, and I think with that comes that extra bit of confidence. And like Andy says, he's an absolute workhorse. We've got a number of these sort of players now in this squad, and they really fit that sort of Phil Parkinson style, whether it's Rathbone, obviously Thomason. I think Longman's a bit of one of them. When he pulls on that shirt, he's going to give absolutely everything he can, and that's something that obviously everyone in this stadium absolutely adores to see, and it gives this place a boost. I think we said it a few weeks ago about how the atmosphere in the racecourse could be a massive part, could play a massive part as we enter the run-in now, and he certainly gives that. He picks this place up, whether he's coming off the bench or starting in the 11 from the off.
Ollie Rathbone's full interview available on the official Wrexham AFC YouTube channel if you want to see that in full, in which he makes the statement he's probably played his best football of his career whilst he has been here at the Stoke Kai Ras. Well, as Andy mentions, another player to put pen to paper this week was fellow midfielder George Dobson, who's also secured until the end of the 27-28 season. And we also managed to get a quick word with him.
What's it taken to have such a big impact, not just last season, but to step up this season as well?
Yeah, well, personally for myself, first time I played in the Championships, I knew it was going to be a real big challenge stepping up in terms of the league and in terms of with the quality players that we've brought in. So to have played as much as I have, I've obviously been delighted, but yeah, no, it's been a lot of hard work with a lot of people, and of course it's been the backing that I've had from everyone to be able to have that platform to kick on. So as I said, really grateful for everyone's backing and help from the gaffer all the way through to all the staff and the players, and yeah, just delighted for everything to be sorted, and now a brilliant opportunity to kick on again.
Midfielder George Dobson equally delighted to be extending his stay at the Stoke Kai Ras, and Andy Dobson has been one of the standouts this season. People wondered perhaps could he make the step up from League One to the Championship, and he's more than answered that question.
Yeah, well, 10 years in League One, it is that question of can you make that next step, and I think he worked really hard in the off-season. He spoke to the manager and what was necessary for him to get into that next Championship step, that get in this team, and he certainly has been brilliant. Probably one of the players of the season up to Christmas. Then he's found it a bit more difficult with the two pivots and Sheaf being so good with James. but now he's got a real good opportunity to finish this season and really crack on and be really solid and be a really good member of this team.
Andy Meir, thank you very much for now. We'll let you head off to join Mark Griffiths on commentary duty. Don't forget, if you've not yet got your iFollow pass, head to wrexhamafc.co.uk/live. All the details are there for you. And of course, if you'd like to get yourself on screen, whether that's in the big screens here at the racecourse or online and the Matchday Live holding slate, then the QR code is on screen now. All you've got to do is take a selfie, tell us where you're watching from, whether that's close to the stadium or in a far-flung land. We would love to know where you are and where you're enjoying tonight's coverage. We will be back in around about 50 minutes time on the same link on YouTube to digest the opening half between Wrexham and Portsmouth. We'll also be joined at half-time by a hero from not too long ago in these parts. In 2014-15, Louis Moult was the man on everyone's lips around LL11. And he is going to be joining us at half-time. Currently at Crewe Alexandra. Moult went on to success in Scotland after he left Wrexham, and we'll have the chance to catch up with Louis as well as Andy and Mia at half-time. But the teams are due out any moment now. Portsmouth off the back of 2 excellent away wins in London at Charlton and Millwall, both by 3-1. Name a team unchanged for the 3rd successive fixture. Wrexham make 3 alterations from the team who beat Ipswich on Saturday, as Phil Parkinson looks to freshen up his side, knowing that another daunting championship battle lies in wait. The players are making their way out of the tunnel, as you can see on screen. We look forward to your company again at half-time, back here on Matchday Live. Bye for now.
half. Substitution for Portsmouth, leaving the field, number 8, John Swift. He's been replaced by number 10, Adrian Segachich.
Step over his just enough, just the amount of step overs you need to get the police.
That Bedwarf Swyddolig did not even yn y lleuad symor 2 funud, ychwanegol the fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 2 minutes. Added time, that's 2 minutes.
Half-time here at the Stoke Kairas. It's Wrexham 2, Portsmouth 0. A very strong first half performance from the home side sees them in control at the break. Sam Smith got Wrexham going in the 23rd minute. An excellent header from Smith from Callum Doyle's pinpoint delivery went beyond visiting keeper Nicholas Schmid. And then Max Cleworth doubled the Wrexham lead 5 minutes before half-time. George Dobson's floated corner and Cleworth's header going into the top right-hand corner. Wrexham have been in control for much of the half against in-form Portsmouth. The visitors struggling to really put pressure on Arthur Okonkwo's goal. Malenik Ali having a chance 5 minutes before the interval, but shooting comfortably low to Okonkwo's right. And then right at the death, Zach Swanson's shot from distance whistled just over the bar. But a very strong showing from Parkinson's side in the opening half. They have a commanding lead at the interval by 2-0. Delighted to have been rejoined by Mia Roberts and Andy Morell, and also by former Wrexham striker Louis Moult. Louis, fantastic to see you back at the racecourse. You starred here in 14-15 under Kevin Wilkin. We'll get onto that in a minute, but first and foremost, what did you make of the first half?
Yeah, really positive from Wrexham. Totally dominated, I thought. Very composed with the ball and without the ball. Portsmouth really struggling to really get anywhere up the pitch. Thought Wrexham looked really dangerous, especially out wide. Some lovely balls in the box, I thought. Sam Smith ran the channels and got his goal really well in that first half.
Issa Kabori, and a really strong performance from him on the right-hand side this afternoon, or this evening. He's been at the heart of a lot of Wrexham's best play.
Yeah, he's done quality, and his relationship with Windass just in that 10 role, and Cleworth backing him up. The three of them have been rotating really well, getting into some really good positions, and his quality's been good. Today he's been right on the money, and unfortunate not maybe to get Sam Smith just into those positions to get the goal as well. But I think they've been dominant. I think they've worked it out what Portsmouth are looking to. Two high and wide wingers. They've worked out that they can deal with them with the three centre halves, and then the four in midfield have just ran the show since they've worked that out and then dominated, and we're able to get our wing backs up the pitch.
Mia, Portsmouth unchanged for the third game on the spin this evening. I guess the downside of sticking to a winning formula is you might be a bit more predictable. Phil told us before the match tonight that he'd watched them in those games at Charlton and at Millwall. Do you think that's perhaps played a part, that predictability, in how Wrexham have been able to pick them open?
Yeah, I think that's certainly played a part, but I think Wrexham have generally been, really good value in that first 45 minutes. I think it's been a very professional performance as well. I think they haven't necessarily had Portsmouth under the cosh for 45 minutes, but what they have done has been very clinical. They've made chances and then taken those chances, and against a side like Portsmouth, like we said at the top of the show, tonight in some ways was maybe a little bit more difficult than that Ipswich game on Saturday, and we've seen that from this Wrexham side this season, that when they've played some of these lower ranked teams, that it has proved to be very difficult, and they've sort of waited till later on in games to really get going, especially at the top of the pitch, but that hasn't been the case today at all. I think like Louis says, Sam Smith causing Regan Poole and Ogilvie all sorts of problems. They're really struggling to get anywhere near him.
When you look at Sam as a striker, Louis, how would you compare him to Kiefer Moore in terms of the different types of centre forward that they offer Phil Parkinson?
Yeah, I think I played against both actually, and Sam Smith really surprised me of how well he covers the ground. He's really intelligent with his movement. and I think he does a really good shift on that holding midfielder with the two outside ones almost pressing the two centre halves. Kiefer Moore could do exactly that, by the way. Kiefer Moore's probably more of a target man who likes to peel on a diagonal. But I feel like the way Wrexham are playing tonight, they actually don't really need to hit the diagonal. They haven't got that much pressure on them on the back line, so they can afford to play one or two passes to build up the pitch and allow Josh Windass to find the pockets and connect. And I think that they've done that really well.
Smith's goal, from as a striker's point of view, he's pulled off it. Ogilvie can't see him and the ball at the same time. The cross is nice, beautiful little curler, but he gets up so early, he just kills Ogilvie in front of him, and then he just has to guide it back where it's come from, keeping no chance.
Yeah, classical centre-forwards header for Smith, 6th of the season for the former Reading man. Let's have a look at the stats from the first half just to see how all the different data dimensions played out in the opening 45 minutes. Portsmouth with a bright start in the first few minutes, but as the half wore on, Wrexham starting to turn the screw. You can see Wrexham with more shots over the 45 and 3 of them on target. Portsmouth, though, forcing 4 corners to 2. Let's have a little look at the defensive statistics as well. There will be, of course, a reliance in the Portsmouth dressing room of coming out and being very positive in the second half if they're going to get anything out of this game. Wrexham actually having to make more clearances, 20-7, and having the better of the aerial duels, Mia.
Yeah, I think Portsmouth have had a couple of moments, particularly with Ali down this left-hand side, and that's something where maybe Kabore needs to look at his game more defensively. But like Andy says, when he's been able to step forward, that's caused Portsmouth an issue. But we know what Ali wants to do. He wants to just try and get to this byline and get those crosses in. Luckily for Wrexham, they've defended those crosses really well, as shows on the statistics there, and not really allowed Colby Bishop to latch onto any of them at all.
Andy Mear, thank you very much. We'll see you at full time. Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell back on co-commentary with Mark Griffiths on iFollow for the second half, and that gives me the chance to catch up in a bit more detail with Louis Moult, who's still, of course, an active professional down the road at Crewe Alexandra. Louis, you're back here for the first time, I think, in 3 or 4 seasons. What did it feel like to walk back in through the racecourse gates tonight?
Yeah, amazing. The transition the football club's gone through from when I have been back 3 or 4 years ago, but take that back to the 2014-15 season, I think it was.
Yep. Centenary season, the 150.
Yes, it was. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And it's such an honour and a privilege to be able to be back here, and what an honour it was to play for this football club. And I'm not just saying it because where the football is now, the football club where it is now, but to play for this football club back then and to be part of the history of the football club is a great honour.
That season, of course, was notable for Wrexham, partly for the centenary and the famous red and black hoot jerseys that we wore that season to mark the jerseys that Wrexham originally wore back in 1864. But it was also a Wembley season. You played in the FA Trophy run. We got all the way through to the final, losing out on penalties to North Ferriby. I think you scored 7 in that cup run. What were your memories of playing for Wrexham at Wembley?
Positive in a way, but so disappointed in another, because we lost the game. On a personal note, it was brilliant. I scored a few goals, but the heartache that we all suffered after the game it still hurts me now. I'm not going to lie to you, but the experience for me as a young professional back then, and how it's helped me move forward, it's been huge. And the time I had at Wrexham was amazing.
Well, we can have a look at some of your best Wrexham moments now, Louis, and reminisce a bit of some of your goals. 23, I think it was, that you scored in that season under Kevin Wilkin, because you'd followed Kevin here from Nuneaton Town, hadn't you? And you and Wes York both made the journey at the start of that season and the step up to National League. Yes, that was it. Kev took a chance on me, really. Took me to Nuneaton, and when he got the Wrexham job, I think I was number 1 on his call list, trying to get a move. Thankfully, the persistence paid off, and he took me with him. And I'm still in contact with Kev, and he did brilliant for me. Then, of course, you had a great move up to Scotland, to Motherwell. Had a lot of success at Fir Park, over 40 goals up there in the Scottish Premier League, and then did equally well at Dundee United. What was the standard like in the Scottish Prem? And having gone from the National League, I think a lot of people who follow the EFL struggle to equate a bit where teams in the Scottish Prem would drop into the system. How did you find that?
I found the standard really, really good. You know, one week you could be playing against Celtic and the next you'll be playing against Hamilton Accies. You know, the standard really fluctuates throughout who you play against, and that's no disrespect to any of the teams in that league. But it was a great challenge, something I really thoroughly enjoyed. I managed to get a couple of goals and, you know, I really enjoyed it.
Well, more than a couple, really. You got a couple against Rangers, didn't you? A famous Motherwell victory. I think it was a Scottish League Cup semi-final. You got them both. You must have had some special moments in the streets of Motherwell and some special nights, I'm guessing, after some of those wins.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that one probably springs to mind, scoring the 2 goals and beating Rangers at Hampden with 50,000 people there, you know.
Wow.
It's something I'm going to look back at for the rest of my life, really. Really proud of that, but also scoring against Celtic and beating Celtic at Parkhead as well. You know, that's right up there. So yeah, some fantastic memories.
And looking forward, Louis, have you got any thoughts beyond your playing days where you might want to take your next phase of your football life?
Yeah, I'll probably get into a bit of coaching. You know, something I did when I was playing for Wrexham. I was coaching for Stoke City in the academy. So it's probably something I'm going to look into over the next couple of months.
And as you look at Wrexham's credentials this season and the way the table is looking, do you think there's a possibility Wrexham could make the playoffs and possibly the Premier League?
100%. That is 100% on my mind. You know, coming here tonight, yeah, I followed from afar, you know, on Sky and what have you, but, you know, just seeing them today and how comfortable they are in this league, you know, it's really took me back. But there's no reason why they can't go all the way.
And just finally, Louis, before you let you head back for the second half, when you compare the clubs you've been at, Motherwell, Dundee United, currently at Crewe, clearly Nuneaton where you started out and made your name, what is unique about Wrexham as a club to play for and a supporter base to play in front of?
The people, the people around the town, you know, the football club, there's the familiar faces here, you know, that were here when I was here, and they've still got the same passion. So the answer to your question is the people.
Louis, thank you so much for joining us. I can see the players are coming out for the second half. We'll let you head back upstairs.
Thank you.
Hope you can come and see us again on Matchday Live, and we wish you, of course, all the very best at Crewe Alexandra for the rest of this season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Louis Moult, leading scorer in 2014-15 for Wrexham, 23 goals in red and black that year before he earned his move to the Scottish Premier League. Players are back out then for the second half. Wrexham 2, Portsmouth 0 at the interval. Please rejoin us on this same link on YouTube at full time when we'll have all the reaction and analysis from the Wrexham camp. We look forward to your company then. Bye for now.
Goal scorer for Portsmouth in the 49th minute, number 22, Zach Swanson. Substitution for Wrexham in the field, number 28, Sam Smith. He's been replaced by number 19, Cooper Moult. And in the field, number 10, Josh Windass. He's been replaced by number 20, Ollie Rathbone. 38, Emma Evans. He's been replaced by number 36, Connor Chaplin. And leaving the field, number 22, Zach Swanson. He's been replaced by number 17, Ivan Boat. Substitution for Wrexham in the field, number 33, Nathan Broadhead. He's been replaced by number 26, Zach Biner. Left the field for Portsmouth, number 5, Regan Poole. He was replaced by number 55, Matteo Dia. Mae coedwired sylw wedi dynoddi bydd yn y lle amser o 4 munud, ond whenever the fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 4 minutes added time.
Full time here at the Stoke Kairas, and Wrexham have made it 8 wins in their last 12 in the Sky Bet Championship. They have beaten Portsmouth by 2-1. The second half had a very different hue to it from the first, but Wrexham defended stoutly against strong periods of Portsmouth pressure. The visitors getting a goal back 4 minutes into the second period. Zach Swanson cutting in from left wing back, and when he played a neat 1-2, his shot deflected off Callum Doyle and beyond the stranded Arthur Okonkwo. Portsmouth forced a succession of corners after that, but Wrexham stood firm. Ollie Rathbone hitting the post late on in a rare Wrexham foray deep into Portsmouth territory, but it was a powerful defensive effort in the second half that backed up a strong offensive effort in the first. Job done for Phil Parkinson's side. They make it back-to-back home wins in the past 4 days and continue to consolidate their position in the top 6 of the Sky Bet Championship table. Mia Roberts and Andy Morell have watched a very different game to the one we saw on Saturday. Andy, you look exhausted, so I better come to Mia first. Mia, what did you make of it?
Yeah, completely different. Game just went on its head, really, and Wrexham, like you say, I had to sort of adapt to that, and to be fair to them, I think they did, and I think they deserve an awful lot of credit. I don't think it was the prettiest of watches, and maybe that'll sort of be the headline, but I think when you look at the statistics, which I'm sure we will shortly, I only counted one shot on target for Portsmouth, that being their goal, and even though they did put Wrexham under immense pressure, you didn't really feel like Wrexham were really cracking at all, and I think the defence today deserve huge credit for that. Dobson and O'Brien as well sitting in front of them. The work that this team have put in today, the graft. I think in some ways, I think Phil Parkinson will be equally, if not more, pleased with tonight's performance, and certainly moments in that second half than he would have been on Saturday.
Andy?
Yeah, I thought they showed a different side to their game than they have done in the past probably 2 or 3 games, really, where they have to dig in. They had, a resolution about them where they're just putting bodies on the line and they're just keeping out. Yes, we want to play beautiful attacking football. Fair play to Portsmouth because they had a right go. They changed a few little bits about, changed the personnel in the first half to make it a bit more attacking. They were able to get their rotations in, and they're a decent team now. They look like they've got a bit of a confidence about them. The goal gives them a certain lift, but our dogginess to just get in the way of the ball and help each other out and just head it out of our box, that bit of pride of getting your man and not letting him score, all those things that I'm sure Phil will talk about when he comes in. It's a different side to what we've seen in Wrexham, and they've done it really well today.
Well, Mia mentions the full-time statistics, and we can have a look at those now on screen to see how Wrexham won this Sky Bet Championship match tonight, because as Andy says, they've shown a different side to their quality than we saw on Saturday, when it was all about movement and passing and free scoring. Tonight was about resolution in defence, and you can see
is there enough room for the corner count on there?
We've
got enough space.
15 corners, I know, and Georgia and I on the touchline were counting up how many it was in that little succession around about the hour mark, and I think it was about 8 in 5 minutes, one after another. 15 corners Portsmouth forcing through the 90 minutes, just 3 for Wrexham, and 60% Portsmouth possession, Mia, to 40 from Wrexham. So is that the kind of statistics you were expecting to see?
Yeah, certainly on the corner front. we were doing the same, having to really focus and try and count to how many, and you again, though, I go back to it, I just felt like Wrexham were still not necessarily in control, but had control of those situations, in the sense of those 50-50s, like you were saying, and those matchups. It felt like they were winning them, and listen, I think they really struggled in moments, obviously, to get out and try and get a hold of the ball, but I think, like I say, Phil Parkinson will be so pleased with it. And I come back to it as well, it's been touched on a few times, particularly over the last few months, where Wrexham, the amount of points they've dropped from winning positions. Well, tonight they've certainly turned a corner on that, because I felt like, again, they didn't necessarily look like a team that maybe had been in those situations, and they didn't look nervous, and that's a huge thing, because when that that's on your shoulders, if you like, that can come across, and you can certainly feel that as players on that pitch, and especially when it got a bit quiet in here tonight at times, and understandably so, because there wasn't necessarily too much to get behind.
I think we've defended so well, but I think it shows that we do miss a Sheaf and a James when we are under the cosh a little bit. They're all desperate to get the ball and just keep it, and maybe just a bounce pass, whatever. Dobson was brilliant in front, Lewis O'Brien great, but that side of the game when we are under the caution, we can just make a pass and keep the ball for our team. They're so good at that, and they just take that sting out of an opposition's attacks.
Let's take a look at the defensive statistics then from the evening, because Messrs Cleworth, Hyam and Doyle certainly had to work very hard defensively tonight. It wasn't so much necessarily about tackles, but the need to intercept and clear very much on the agenda. Look at the difference in the clearances: 41 for Wrexham, 12 for Portsmouth, and that I think was heavily populated, Andy, by the second half, which for long periods Wrexham struggled to get across the halfway line.
Yeah, well, we were always looking to our right, if you like. We very rarely looked left, but actually in the game their keeper's made a couple of really important saves that Arthur's not made a save, has he, really, in the game? And so that shows you how defensively good we were at times, and how offensively we've had chances and the keeper's made a lot of saves. So I think Phil Parkinson will be delighted after the back of, and you've got to give credit to Portsmouth, I think, because they've gone 3 or 4 games with the same 11, and to go again after the third away trip on the bounce as well. Okay, 2 victories give you a bit of a boost, but to go again and then to put that in your second half, I think a lot of credit, and not many teams will come and have 60% possession against us here at the racecourse.
Well said, absolutely right. It's also been a busy night for the Wrexham youth team tonight. The under-18s, led by Craig Knight, have been in FA Youth Cup 5th round action. History makers, of course, already our under-18 lads in reaching the 5th round of the FA Youth Cup. But I'm afraid that run has come to an end this evening. They've been beaten at Keys Park, Hensford, by a 1-0 by Aston Villa. Villa scored a goal in the 12th minute through Burrows. Wrexham not able to equalise. So an excellent run comes to an end, but no disgrace at all in losing to the current FA Youth Cup holders, Aston Villa, by a 0-0. And well done to all of the lads who contributed to that great run to the 5th round. I'm sure bright futures ahead for many of those players, and we look forward to tracking their progress for the rest of the season as they compete in their league competition for the remainder of the campaign. A great run for the youth team here, and no disgrace at all at losing to Villa tonight.
No, incredibly respectable, and obviously, like you say, the holders of the competition, Aston Villa, and you know that they've got quite the reputation of how strong their youth sides can be. So, you know, I'm sure that was, you know, a very well worked and thorough performance by those from Wrexham, and you know they can certainly hold their heads up high and look forward and to the future now, and hopefully, you know, maybe next year go a little bit further.
And Andy, what sort of experience will it give Craig Knight's side to come up against Premier League academy players and see how they're operating?
Yeah, well, you see the levels, and they've given it a right go tonight. You know, 1-0 is no disgrace whatsoever, and having a go. But they know now where the bar is set and what they need to do to maybe just creep up a little bit. Sounds like they were organised and have been, you know, 1-0 is just not quite there, but massive experience for them, brilliant experience, and they're, you know, creating history again for this football club.
Yeah, a great run, and congratulations to the under-18s again for making it to the 5th round, and congratulations to Phil Parkinson coming in to join us this evening. Well, Phil, that was a very different type of way to win a game than Saturday. What are your reflections?
First half really good, really good, and second half obviously they came into it, got a deflected goal, which is a little bit lucky the way it's gone in, and we couldn't quite get hold of the ball second half. We just came a bit frantic, even though they haven't had a lot of chances. They've had a lot of corners which we defended brilliantly, and Ollie's probably had the best chance when he's hit the post, but we just couldn't get any control in the game. But sometimes you've got to find a way to win, and it can't always be the free-flowing football we had at the weekend. And you know, so I'm as pleased with this victory as I was with the result against Ipswich. We've had a bit of illness in the camp. Keith has been ill over the weekend. Sam Smith was ill and was struggling at half time, so I had both of those two just said, come on Sam, give us another 10-15, and Kiefer was struggling a bit when he came on, but sometimes, you know, in those situations you've just got to show that resilience, and I felt we did that.
You talk about the defensive resilience, Phil. We've just been looking at the statistics, 15 Portsmouth corners through the 90, but we felt actually the resolution of the defence meant that the clear chances that Portsmouth created relatively few. Yeah, listen, I think, you know, we've spent a lot of time on our defending set plays. The analysts work so hard, you know, in getting the detail right, and it's absolutely key. And, you know, sometimes it ends up scrappy, and it's hard to put your finger on it. You know, we just couldn't get a pass away, and we did the bit last 15. We got a bit better, but listen, all in all, we stuck to our jobs
in those key areas, and that's what gets you results when you don't play at your best like we weren't in the second half.
I know, Phil, you like to look at markers through the season to show the evolution of the side and the progress that you're making. One aspect we've just been discussing has been about points dropped from a winning position, and that has been a little bit of an issue this season, but you've now managed tonight, against a fair barrage of pressures for 20 minutes, to withstand that and to come out with 3 points. Yeah, listen, we've also scored late goals as well, haven't we? So, yeah, it's character. It's like defending those set plays like we spoke about. And Pompey obviously came here with renewed confidence from the 3-1 win at Millwall and the victory against Charlton. And you could see that in the second half. They responded, and we spoke about that at the break. And listen, obviously they had the early spell of possession, but it was just a deflected goal which gave them a lift. But listen, we're really pleased tonight. In football, when you win on Saturday at home, it always is difficult to follow it up on the Tuesday for a number of reasons, especially with the profile of the Ipswich game as well, and the kind of energy and the emotion of that day. So this was a really important night for us tonight, and I'm so pleased we've come through it. And winning games in such different styles, free-flowing, slick passing, high-scoring on Saturday, resolute today, you must feel that gives you confidence that this is a squad well set up for the run-in to win in different conditions. Well, listen, ever since I've been here, we've spoke about it many times about that. You know, every game is different. There's different qualities required to win, and you've got to be able to win all different types of football matches. And I think we've shown that tonight. Phil, thanks so much for joining us. All the very best for Charlton on Saturday. Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson enjoying the fruits of back-to-back home wins, 2 wins in the space of 4 days here at the Stoke Kairas as his side continue their excellent run of late. Let's have a look across all the results this evening in the Sky Bet Championship and see what's been happening elsewhere. There are other matches, of course, tomorrow, but we have had a number of games this evening, and many of those involving other clubs who are in the reckoning for the playoff places. And Bristol City, they've stumbled a bit of late, but they've gone to Blackburn and picked up a win. That's good news from a Portsmouth perspective. Another of the strugglers down the bottom who had been improving under Michael O'Neill, picking up a couple of wins, beaten tonight. Hull City, though, rivals for Wrexham in the top 6, winning that game against Derby County, who are also very much in the playoff conversation, but Hull continuing to impress with a 4-2 win. Middlesbrough held by Leicester, perhaps a bit of a surprise up at the Riverside. Same score in West Wales, Swansea and Preston drawing 1-1, late Swansea equaliser in that game. Ipswich back on the horse with a 2-0 win at Watford. West Brom and Charlton, two sides struggling for form at the moment, playing out a 1-1 draw, and Southampton thumping QPR 5-0. That match not quite at full time yet, but 5-0 to the Saints. At the moment, a very good position for Southampton to enjoy. So they're the results tonight from around the division. Cliff Grantham's back in with us again. Cliff, as a Pompey fan, what are your emotions at full time?
Well, I mean, disappointed not to come away with something from that game. 3 tough away games in a week proved just a bridge too far tonight, I think. But yeah, disappointed on the basis of that second half performance. They couldn't turn that pressure into a second goal at least. So yeah, disappointed, but they'll take a lot of heart, I think, from that performance. And you know, we go again, Hull on Saturday.
Yeah, well, another of the top sides. And as you say, Cliff, I guess there's a sense of perspective. If you'd have probably offered yourself or other Pompey fans 6 points from 3 trips to Charlton, Millwall and Wrexham, I'm sure you'd have taken it.
Yeah, definitely, and that was the discussion amongst the Pompey fans this evening. I think, as I said earlier on, if we'd taken 3 or 4 points, we'd have thought that was a good return from 3 tough games. So yeah, disappointed not to have got another point this evening. I thought they deserved it overall, but you know, it wasn't to be. Just it showed a bit more conviction in that first half when they got the ball forward, and a couple of disappointing goals to give away. Corners have been the bane of our season. Defensively, yep. And tightened up a lot recently, but yeah. But you know, honestly, at half time, I thought, you know, we're in for a long evening, and to get that goal early in the second half and to put that pressure on for a good 20 minutes or so, you know, it was impressive. It's a depleted squad at the moment, and these, as I say, 3 players have played 3 tough games in a week. So
yeah, you've got a load of injuries, haven't you?
Yes.
At the moment,
yes.
That are key to you, really.
Yes.
Josh Murphy being one of the
Yes,
key
exactly.
ones who's a very, very good player. It's goals, isn't it? You need goals
Yes.
in your team, and you haven't had enough of those at the moment.
No, we haven't. In the last couple of games, we found the net again. But you saw this evening, it's just that final ball sometimes, that just lack of confidence as they get in front of goal.
Get people fit.
Yes.
That's the best idea, if you can.
Yeah.
And when you're forcing 15 corners over 90 minutes, Cliff, you've got to be working the home keeper probably a bit harder.
Yes. Yeah. No. Exactly. They didn't quite come off this evening, but good performance overall, I think, and people take a lot of heart from that.
And Hull next, so go and do us a favour on Saturday if you don't mind. That would be like you did at Millwall, which was much appreciated. But before you head to Hull, I know you're enjoying a bit of time in North Wales while you've been here. Have you been out walking anywhere nice? And can you say any of the names of the places you've been to, Cliff? Have a crack at it.
You said you weren't going to bowl me any googlies tonight. We've been to the Adequate.
That's not even a Welsh word.
The aqueduct.
Good, excellent. Pontysilva.
And we've been to the Horseshoe
Pass. Excellent. Well, you've had some lovely weather for
it's been
today.
It's been great. People have been lovely. Enjoyed our trip, apart from the first half this evening.
Well, you certainly did yourselves proud in the second. And Cliff, thanks for coming up to visit us in Wrexham. I'm glad you've enjoyed your time in the area as well as your time here, and have a very safe long journey home.
Thanks a lot, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Cliff. Cliff Grantham, Portsmouth season ticket holder and guest tonight on Match Day Live. His side huffed and puffed in the second half. They got one back. They couldn't get the equaliser, and Portsmouth will be leaving the Stoke Kairas with nothing to show for their efforts this evening. Let's have a look at the Sky Bet Championship table then tonight to see how that leaves things, because Wrexham's continuing good run of 8 wins in the last 12 matches, with a couple of draws thrown in as well, is really making a statement in this division as they continue to embark on a significant playoff challenge. 6th position then with 54 points, 2 points behind Millwall in 5th, who play tomorrow. Bit of a gap over Southampton, who are surging again.
They're flying.
Tom de Rekker. They had a great run, Andy, didn't they, earlier in the season? Then they went off the boil a bit. And let's not forget, Southampton were one of the relegated sides last year from the Premier League. So when we started this season, we were very much thinking all eyes go on Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester. And it's only really Ipswich thus far who've asked serious questions at the top end of the table. But Southampton coming with a bit of a late run.
Yeah, well, the manager's getting sacked, and then they just had a big turnaround in fortunes when the new manager stepped in. Then they went on a little lull, like you said, but now they are right on the front foot and coming through and steamrolling teams. And 5-0 home to QPR, that's a big statement there. And there'll be everybody in that top 7 or 8 will be going, hang on a sec, who's this lot coming behind us?
The Tensmere, doesn't there, every season to be someone who makes a late run for the playoffs. He's not really been in the top 6 picture all season, but suddenly finds the groove. And we're still some way out. I mean, there's still a lot of football to be played. Yeah. There's probably still another club yet to emerge who might make that burst. If we look at the bottom of the table there, Portsmouth looking over their shoulders a little bit more now, but at least Blackburn's defeat helps them out a little bit.
Yeah, and like Cliff said, I think again tonight's performance and the previous, I think you could go back 5 or 6 games and look at performances, sometimes over results, and they'll take a lot from that. And obviously you'd like to think they've got players, coming back. Obviously Connor Chaplin back in the squad tonight. Maybe not necessarily making the immediate mark back that he would have wanted to, but absolutely you've got to take into account those injuries as well. That just the list. I had to scroll for a few minutes when I was doing the research, and it is just ridiculous, and it's so tough for teams to go through that. But like we said earlier on, they had a really good window in January and recruited some really strong players, and we've seen that in moments tonight as well. So I'd expect them to be just fine.
I think they'll be looking at Oxford have pretty much they're 9 points, 10 points off Oxford in second bottom. Sheffield Wednesday gone already. Who's that going to be, that third team down there? And it's as long as it's not them, they're looking at Leicester with the points deduction. Anything could happen. They could have more points taken off. They could get some back. Yeah. Who knows what happens with them? Blackburn, West Brom as well around it. Is there anybody above them that might get dragged in, and maybe a Charlton or somebody like that? So they've just got to look around them and say, right, if we can just keep getting enough points to accrue, a couple of more wins, and just lengthen that gap from the teams below them, then they'll be fine. If they play like that, they'll be fine for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Charlton next for Wrexham on Saturday, a 3 o'clock kickoff there at the Valley. So that is the next opportunity for Phil Parkinson's side to continue to pick up points. The next action here, of course, at the Stoke Kairas. Well, I probably don't need to remind you, that is the visit of Chelsea in the FA Cup. Saturday, March the 7th, a 5:45 kickoff. That's the first of 3 consecutive home fixtures rattling through the calendar. Chelsea on Saturday the 7th, and Hull City at home on the 10th, the Tuesday night at 7:45, and then Swansea City on a rare Friday night fixture, 8 o'clock kickoff on the 13th of March. So the match is coming thick and fast for Wrexham in that period. Their trip to Watford has been rearranged, if you've not seen that already this week, coming through the Wrexham media channels. That is on Tuesday the 17th of March, now down at Vicarage Road, 7:45 kickoff in that one. And the women, of course, as we were discussing with Gemma Owen earlier, have a rare Saturday fixture this weekend. They have got a fixture down at Cardiff City on Saturday afternoon. So straight back up against a Cardiff team, Mia, who will no doubt be desperate for immediate revenge.
Yeah, absolutely that. I think, obviously watching the jubilation of that Wrexham side on Sunday, but also, watching the pain and distraught of the Cardiff side equally as well, who, by the way, aren't used to losing those games. They're very much accustomed now to those sort of, I wouldn't say easy, but they almost go into those games expecting to win, and it'll be interesting to see how they do react, because, like I say, they're not used to that. But Ian Derbyshire in his last year with the side, I'm sure he'll be absolutely determined now. Obviously the treble's off, but they'll still certainly be aiming for that double.
And if we look from a men's perspective towards Saturday as well, Andy, Charlton Athletic struggling at the moment. They're not out of the relegation woods by any stretch. Good start to the season that they had, really, a bit like Stoke City. They both went out the blocks really quickly, but have struggled to maintain that. I guess the challenge for Phil will partly be from an injury perspective, because what he's saying tonight is clearly a bit of illness for Moore and Smith. Hopefully that's not too serious and will pass. But obviously Sheaf will be out, James will be out. And for O'Brien and Dobson, who've gone a full 90 there in defensive midfield roles that have been having to work very hard in the second period, it's getting them ready for another 90 and a long away trip.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do a lot for the rest of the week, really. Probably day off tomorrow, back in Thursday. Really light recovery one for the lads that have played 90 or 60s. And then Friday, little organisation of how Charlton play, and they'll travel. And it'll be very, very light, really, and just try and look to who's fit, who's ready, who's raring to go. He's got options up front if people are back well enough, from illness, and he can change a few things. Maybe we might see a Davis Keeler-Dunn, maybe a fresh face in there.
I wonder whether Zach Viner might get a first start. I wonder whether this might be an opportunity for him, because he's come on, hasn't he, for a couple of short cameos playing in that central mid role. I wonder whether he might get an opportunity.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they'll look at him playing in one of those 6 roles in training in the next couple of days and make a decision off whether he's ready to go right from the get-go, or whether we just go with what we know and maybe drop him in for maybe half an hour if we needs be, if we're a little bit leggy with it. But I'm sure he'll look at it. I think we'll maybe see Longman on the weekend ahead of Kabore, because he's had a 90 here. And then we've got to go with Thomason. Really, we haven't got any choice down that side. Kiefer or Sam Smith, they'll probably do half each, toss it up and see who comes down on heads or tails. So he has definitely got options. The squad is, obviously, we've spoken about it so many times this year about his options, but he'll look in training and just see who's ready to go and go again. But it's another great opportunity to go and really put one on Charlton as well. I think their downfall started about when they came to us. They were flying and we nicked it here, and they've never really recovered since. And so I think it's a great opportunity to go and put one over in the circus, right?
The famous circus.
You said it.
Never forgotten that circus. George Thomason again tonight, Mia. I noticed about a minute from time, he picked the ball up just inside the Charlton half, drove forward, just had an eye for goal, surging past players, got his shot away, deflected for a corner. But just having that fitness and that power late in a game when you get an opportunity to push a team backwards, when you're trying to get a bit of respite yourself, showing again what he brings from that left wing back role.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I'm not quite sure where the energy does come from, because you look at him at one moment and he's sort of on his haunches, and you think, we might have to make a change or somewhat here. But he then finds it. And to be fair, I thought he was having some quite difficult moments when Harvey Blair came on.
Yeah,
I thought
dangerous
he got beaten a couple of times, but then he just started reading it a bit better. Found his distances, and sort of clicked to what their plan was, and knew as soon as that ball came into Harvey Blair he could step and press on and go really. and he was, one of the biggest outlets for Wrexham in that second half. So again, a performance he can certainly be very proud of.
And Andy, just looking at the front two again, obviously fighting illness, which we didn't know before kick-off tonight, but just give us an assessment of how you thought Smith and Moore went tonight.
Yeah, I thought Smith was great. He ran the channels, he's brave, he heads it really well. I thought he did brilliantly, like I said, at half-time for his goal. He really set himself up in a great position, able to get up early, great cross, and a really good header back from where it came from, gives the keeper no chance. I think Moore in the second half was just more of a defensive-minded one, really, for our own box and heading it out and clearing it and digging in that sort of way. He didn't really have any opportunities to get a chance of running with the ball or anything like he was on Saturday, but what he did do was he stood in the middle of that box and headed the thing out of our own box, and it counts for a lot when you come away with your 2-1 victory.
And a really important facet of centre forward play. I can see we've got Max Cleworth, who's going to come and join us
over this wire
in the Matchday Live studio. He's going to do his bit of maypole dancing around our wires, and there we go. Mia Roberts very deftly stepping over. Max, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in to speak to us this evening. I should think you're ready for a lie down after those 2 matches in the last 4 days, aren't you?
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't feel too bad tonight. I think obviously the other day was probably a bit more taxing on the legs. But as you said, we were lucky enough to have facilities to recover right. So yeah, just happy to have won both, and then we move on to the weekend now.
A match that looked very different on the eye in the 2 halves. In the first half, you were in control. You got your goal. We'll come to that in just a moment, of course. But in the second half, a lot of Portsmouth pressure, certainly for the first 15 or 20 minutes. What were you noticing was happening differently out there?
To be fair, I think they had a few more rotations. And obviously at 2-0, they've got nothing to lose, so came out for it a bit more. But yeah, as you said, we were very good first half, and then maybe we had to weather a bit of a storm, and could have maybe got one at the end, which would have been nice to just make it a bit of an easier last 5 minutes. But I don't think they actually had too many. It wasn't like Arth was being constantly peppered in goal, or they were getting loads of shots off. It was sort of quite at the edge of our box, which we can be comfortable with. But yeah, we'd have liked to have more possession second half and impose ourselves a bit more like we did in the first half.
And Max, we were talking about how it sort of felt in this season in particular that each game sort of having to adapt and play sort of different football at times. Obviously tonight's a good comparison to Saturday of that. Do you think that is something that has changed more in the Championship than maybe in previous seasons? Yeah,
I think you see just in terms of ideas that managers have and sort of their own sort of ways of playing, that everyone's sort of got a different sort of style. When we lads were just saying in there, when we played them at the start of the season, they were very route one, out wide, crosses in the box, whereas tonight there were a lot more rotations. Their fullbacks were rolling inside, which we'd seen yesterday on the video, and we sort of knew how to try and stop that. But they did it a much better second half, to be fair to them, and their last few results showed that they're a very good team and sort of in a false position towards the bottom. So we knew it was going to be a tough game, and we're just glad that we've come out on top in the end.
And a goal.
I know, about time.
Last season, really good, right?
Yeah.
Scored a few. Not happened as much this season, but good to get back on the score sheet, right?
And yeah, obviously.
Set you off again, yeah?
Yeah, and I know I've claimed one at the start of the season. I've had a few chances that just haven't quite fell my way, or keepers have made good saves. So yeah, it was nice to finally sort of get half a yard, be a bit free, and managed to just get a little flick on it.
But it's that belief, isn't it? That it is going to come to you. When you're not scoring, you start doubting that it's never coming my way. But you just got to keep getting in there, right?
You can get frustrated. I think there was one a few games ago where it was just half a yard, it dropped. They're the sort of the small margins where last year a few dropped to me, but I never sort of get too frustrated. It was nice. I sort of saw it come early tonight, and luckily managed to time our run quite well and just flick it into the corner. But if we can sort of chip in, Doyle did it Saturday, did it with another good cross tonight from him. So if us as defenders can chip in with a few goals and assists, it's going to help us as a team. So yeah, it was a good goal.
But defensively, as you three have seemed to be settled in as a back three now, that tonight's performance in that second half must be really pleasing, the way that you put bodies on the line, block balls, and not kept a clean sheet. It was an unfortunate deflection, but really put that wall in front of that goal to help Arthur.
Yeah, I think that sort of, it was a bit of a throwback almost to last year at times, where we sort of cleared balls, got them out the box. I think at times we've conceded goals that just a bit half a yard off it, a bit sloppy. and obviously teams are so good in this league that they'll punish you if you're just slightly out of position or someone's not covered another person. So yeah, tonight it was nice that we felt strong in a back 3 and 5 with the 2 in front. So we felt really strong, and yeah, it was obviously the deflections disappointing. But things like that happen in football. I think we reacted well, and they didn't have many chances after that. No.
Max, huge thanks for coming to see us on Matchday Live. Well done on the goal and on the win, and hopefully a couple of days of relatively easy time before you head to Charlton now.
Hopefully. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers.
Enjoy putting your feet up. Thank you. Max Cleworth, Wrexham central defender and scorer tonight in the 2-1 victory over Portsmouth, joining us on Matchday Live as we wrap up this evening's events from the Stoke Kairas. Another Wrexham victory by 2-1 against visitors Portsmouth. Andy Meir, you're heading to the Valley, to South East London on Saturday. Looking forward to heading down there. London night out as part of it this time, Andy? I know you enjoyed your trip to QPR.
No, I'm coaching Friday night, so down there late on Friday. Okay. It'll be 11 or 12 o'clock when I get down there. So
right, early to
lie
bed
in,
and then ready for it. What about you, Mia? Make anything of the trip?
She's on it.
There's actually a foundation event on the Friday, which
is this your thing at the Gherkin with Ollie Palmer?
Correct.
Oh,
so, yeah, working.
Oh, very much so. You and Wrexham's tallest men, Ollie,
absolutely.
Humphrey Kerr,
honestly,
Sean Harvey.
I hope.
Get your stool.
I hope there's stools. That's
there
all
will
I'm going to say.
But put that request in, Mia. I'm sure they'll honour it for you. Andy Meir, thank you very much indeed. So tonight, Wrexham squared up to Portsmouth, home of the Royal Navy and the birthplace of Charles Dickens. It was very much a tale of two cities. But tonight, it was the one in North Wales who got the better of the one on the south coast. Wrexham victorious by 2-1. They continue their march towards the playoffs. Next stop, the Valley on Saturday. Thanks for joining us tonight. Diolch am wylio. Good night.